Wrestling fans will never forget the bizarre and chilling night in 2007 when WWE aired a tribute show to Chris Benoit, only to later discover the horrifying truth about what had actually happened. It remains one of the darkest, most complicated chapters in professional wrestling history. For former WWE star Wang, the experience felt so wrong that he chose to no-show SmackDown completely, refusing to be a part of any event honoring Benoit. In a recent interview, Yang opened up about the emotions of that night, recalling the chaos, the rumors, and the shocking announcement that Benoit, his wife Nancy, and their young son Daniel were all found dead. At the time, WWE had no idea of the crime behind the tragedy, and the tribute came before all the facts were revealed. But Yang explained that even then his gut told him something wasn't right, and that instinct led him to walk away. According to Wang, the entire week had already felt strange due to WWE running the infamous storyline where Vince McMahon was killed in a limo explosion. That storyline was immediately scrapped when the Benoit tragedy became public. Yang recalled arriving in Corpus Christi, Texas, with the rest of the WWE roster, only for confusion to spread throughout the arena. He described hearing whispers from other wrestlers, people trying to make sense of the news, some believing it could have been a robbery or random crime. He even admitted that for a moment, he tried to convince himself that maybe it wasn't Benoit's doing. But as he looked at colleagues like Brian Kendrick, the realization slowly set in. They both suspected the worst. For Yang, that was the turning point. He no longer cared about Benoit's in-ring abilities or legacy. The actions spoke louder than the career, and Yang decided he could not pretend otherwise. What made things even more difficult was WWE's immediate response. Wanting to respect Benoit before the full truth came out, the company quickly put together a memorial show. Yang explained how uneasy this felt to him, describing how he sat there wrestling with his own thoughts. He needed answers, and he needed clarity before celebrating someone whose reputation was now under a very dark shadow. His gut feeling only grew stronger as more information leaked throughout the day, and by the time he heard details suggesting Benoit himself was responsible, Yang had already made up his mind. He refused to appear on television and participate in the tribute. He admitted he struggled with mixed emotions, confusion, disbelief, and sadness, but ultimately, he chose to listen to that gut feeling. For him, honoring Benoit in any way, even briefly, would have gone against his own principles and the reality of what had taken place. Wang Yang's decision to no-show SmackDown caused some concern at first, since walking out on a scheduled show can bring major consequences in WWE. But as he explained, he simply didn't feel comfortable being part of anything connected to Benoit once the facts began to surface. He said that he needed more facts and more understanding before even considering it. But when those facts arrived, they only confirmed the worst. Looking back, Yang admitted that it was one of the strangest and most emotional times he had ever experienced as a wrestler. Some of his colleagues struggled in their own ways, torn between respecting a man they knew personally and grappling with the monstrous acts that ended his family's life. For Yang, however, the line was clear. No amount of in-ring talent could erase the horror of what had happened. His refusal to take part was not about disrespecting WWE, but about personal integrity. Today, when fans and wrestlers alike look back at that dark week in 2007, many acknowledge how it changed wrestling forever. WWE has since removed Benoit from almost all of its programming and history, choosing not to celebrate his accomplishments because of the nature of his crimes. For Wang, speaking about his experience years later, is a reminder of just how human those moments were for everyone behind the scenes. These were wrestlers caught between the shock of losing a colleague and the horror of realizing what he had done. The story also highlights how performers, no matter how tough they appear in the ring, face deeply emotional struggles just like anyone else. Yang's honesty about no-showing SmackDown shows that sometimes the bravest choice is to walk away. His story captures the reality of professional wrestling, not just as entertainment, but as a workplace where real-life tragedies leave a lasting impact.